Howdy, folks. Greyhawk 4x4 coming at you again, your resident vintage gamer. Happy Thursday, and holy shit, do we have a lot to talk about. The gaming news docket is fucking packed. Uh, we've got console PC gaming news, tabletop D&D shit, you name it. We've got it, baby. So, hey Chupa, how are you? Time to trim the beard back a little bit. I had it down. Probably gonna soon, if we can ever get some warm weather, might go all the way down to the goatee. I don't know. So I'm assuming you guys have been following all the news. World of Warcraft dropped all their their next expansion news and their Wrath of Lich King for Classic, and so everything that went along with that. And then D&D this morning had their D&D Direct, which they dropped the bombshells of which campaigns, which game worlds were going to be, hey Bastille, which campaigns were going to be worked on. Well, they're already working on it, but which ones are going to be published. So, and then aside from that, we got, I just saw, I don't know when this hit, but apparently, let's see, when did that? 4 hours ago. This hit 4 hours ago. A new Tales from the Borderlands is coming. Another Borderlands game. So, it's got, well, PC gamer, you guys need to fix your shit. You shouldn't have autoplay ads with audio ever. Should never have that. Anyway, so we've got a new Borderlands game. We've got the World of Warcraft stuff, the D&D stuff. There's even a small piece of news on the MMO side that apparently there's a long-running game. I think it's Terra is an MMO that is shutting down after 10 years. It's been around for 10 years. Which I'm going to talk about a little bit because I never played Terra, never had any designs on playing Terra, but I do know about the game, and the fact that it's shutting down sheds light on a problem which I've had with MMOs. Even as much as I love them, MMOs are fantastic. The amount of hours I've put into MMOs, if you count Star Wars Galaxies, EverQuest 2, D&D Online, Lord of the Rings Online, and I'm sure there's ones that I'm forgetting, World of Warcraft. I mean, thousands of hours I've put into them. But the bittersweet part of that is you can spend all those hours building something up, whether it's your character to the perfect character, and or you have a trade skill person in an MMO that you build up to be one of the better trade skill people on the server. And then you have player housing, and you've built one of the most awesome houses that there is, on the server. And in a flash of an eye, that shit's gone. All that you worked for, because they just shut them down. Now, thankfully, they have these emulators that they've got that they can, like Star Wars Galaxies has an emulator, Vanguard has an emulator. I think there's emulators for all of them. But it isn't the same because you have to start from scratch then. So that's the bittersweet part. It's like one of the reasons I played World of Warcraft for so long is I was like, well, this is the one game that I don't think will be shutting down anytime soon. And that was several years ago, before all the bullshit started. Alex Padilla says, I agree. That's why buy and focus on mounts and pets from Warcraft. Warcraft is the one that I always thought was safe because it had such an enormous following that there was no reason to even forecast a shutting down of that game, which I still don't know that they would ever. I mean, it could go for another 30 years. Who knows? But that was before all the scandals and all the bullshit. But anyway, so I don't like to see any of them shut down because I know how much time and effort people have put into their characters and all that other stuff. So I don't like to see any of that shit just go away like that. If there was only a way they could, put the server into maintenance mode or something like that. Hey, Colin, how are you? And where that people could still enjoy that what they've built up and everything, and they just don't produce anything more for it. If they could only do that to allow people so they don't lose everything they worked for. But on that note, so I did a video yesterday about the or day before yesterday, I think it was, um, about the World of Warcraft announcement with the Dragonflight, Wrath of the Lich King, and all that. And that video has only got 52 views. Now, which leads me into another thing. I haven't had a video crack 100 views in a month. And that's disturbing. That's concerning. Because I put a lot of work into doing this shit, whether it's the lives, preparing for the lives, the other videos that I do, the campaign updates, you know. And the fact that I don't know what the hell's happening. I don't know if because I'm starting to get closer, I'm inching closer to getting monetized. I don't know that maybe YouTube makes it harder on the algorithm for you to get views because as soon as they um uh as soon as they you get monetized, they got to start paying you. So maybe they make it tougher on maybe the algorithm is set up as you get closer, it makes it tougher and tougher to get views. I have no idea. I don't understand it. But it's very disheartening when you see that you do all this shit and literally my last two videos, one got 37 views and the other one got 52 views, and I was averaging about 300 views a video, and I don't know what the fuck's going on. So anyway, so maybe the World of Warcraft stuff just it's so not popular now that maybe that's why my video didn't get any views. I have no idea. And then again, it could just be me. No one wants to see my old ass talking about video games. Who knows? So let's see here. Alex Padilla says, thank you, Chupa. Alex Padilla says, yep, I've heard they were comparing it to Guild Wars 2. I started on OG Wrath, and lately I'm meh now. So I did see that comparison with the dragon riding aspect that they're announcing, for Dragonflight. They're saying if you want that mechanic, just go play Guild Wars 2, because apparently they've had it for some time. So that was kind of interesting. The only thing that I would be excited about if I was going to buy Dragonflight would be the Professions overhaul. And I'd have to see some more details about the Professions overhaul, because they just gave little bits of stuff that that they were talking about, that there'd be some customization and there'd be maybe some experimentation type mechanics in the Professions and all that. So that if there was ever anything that was going to make me buy it, if let's say Bobby Kotick was gone, and you guys all know how I feel about him, if he was gone and I was thinking about buying it, that would be the only thing I'd be looking forward to, probably. I mean, the dragon stuff, that might be cool, but the rest of it's going to be the same shit, hamster wheel, regardless of what expansion it is. So, because they haven't put in real player housing, So, but the Wrath of the Lich King in Classic, if I was going to resub for anything, it would be for Wrath of the Lich King, because that Wrath of the Lich King was probably the best expansion they ever had. And they should stop there. There shouldn't be, because after Wrath, I think was Cataclysm, if I'm not mistaken. And that's where everything gets fucked up. So I don't think they're going to go past, if they go past Wrath, they're just, maybe they'll still keep certain servers that'll just stop at Wrath, and then there'll be new servers if people want Cataclysm and to go through all that again. But uh, the talent tree is what people wanted. Okay. Well, they've overhauled the talent system probably 6, 7 times that I know of. So maybe this will be the one that people like. Maybe I don't know. Um, but if I was going to go back, it would be to level my character through into Wrath, um, because I thought that was the best expansion that they had. So, I mean, that was the one expansion that got me to do multiplayer shit. It got me to do was it Winter Grasp? The multiplayer Winter Grasp thing. That was the one I enjoyed that piece of content, even though it was multiplayer stuff, skirmish stuff. I enjoyed that, but so many of my money anyway. So um let's see here. Are you guys getting choppiness? Because I just got a notification that said connection unstable, which I find interesting because they just upgraded my internet uh, a couple of days ago, Comcast. So it's supposed to be even. Is it still choppy now? Because now I'm not getting that message. Okay. Yeah, it was only briefly. It said, stable or connection unstable or something like that, and it said reconnecting. So, yeah, we'll see if that keeps on. We have a storm right now here too. So, we've got 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts from the south. Luckily, that we're on the north part of this complex that we're in, because we have a townhouse. So there's 4 townhouses to a building, and we're at the north end. So when the southern winds, the winds from the south come, we don't really feel it because it just goes right by us. When they come from the north, which is how they normally do, that beats the shit out of us. But regardless, we are having a storm, so there may be some lightning and stuff out there too. So, so anyway, that's my feelings on the World of Warcraft stuff. Now, I know you guys probably want me to talk about the D&D Direct announcements from this morning with the Spelljammer and Dragonlance announcements. Yeah, it might have when it did the reconnect, it might have fixed it. So, so we're going to talk a little bit about Dragonlance and Spelljammer. So, and I do need to go back because last year when they made an announcement that there was going to be 2 new campaign worlds, old campaign worlds they were going to be bringing in to 5th edition. That some of us here were making speculations about which 2 it would be. And I don't remember. I'm sure some of you probably got it right. You probably said Spelljammer and Dragonlance. I think maybe at least one person said that. I said I thought it would be, what did I say? I said it would be Dragonlance. I don't think I picked Spelljammer. Oh, I think I picked Planescape. I thought it would be Planescape and Dragonlance. That was what I said. So I got it half right. Because Planescape was a big moneymaker for D&D. It was very popular. So here's my old Dragonlance hardback from 2nd edition. So if any of you that are watching don't have a lot of experience with Dragonlance, and you're interested in it before the 5th edition stuff comes out, thanks, Bestial. Appreciate that. So in the meantime, and you can probably get this at RPG, Drive-Thru RPG in the PDF. This might be a good book to just pick up and peruse. And it basically says, at last, the complete Kryn source book that contains all the information necessary for limitless campaigning in the world of Dragonlance in the World of Dragonlance saga. Provides all new information on the character classes, races, artifacts, and powers that are unique to the fantastic world of Kryn. And it is by Tracy Hickman and Margaret Weiss, who wrote the books. So if you're interested in the races and classes and all that stuff ahead of time, maybe you want to get this on Drive Through RPG. It's a good book. And this is what started it all. Were the books. Dragons of Autumn Twilight was the very first one by Margaret Weiss and Tracy Hickman. And you had volume 2 was Dragons of Winter Night. And 3 was Dragons of Spring Dawning. These were the first 3 books. And I'm pretty sure I read all 3 of them. But so you can probably find these at used bookstores. Who knows if you might find these in PDF or on Kindle or whatever. That's a good way to learn about the Dragonlance setting if you haven't already been accustomed to it, to try and get yourself prepared for 5th edition Dragonlance. So that's my suggestion there is, I never DM'd Dragonlance. Again, I was the Greyhawk guy. Had a buddy who was the Forgotten Realms guy. And I have a ton of Dragonlance stuff, just never DM'd it. I could always work it into my campaign at some point. So I might do that. I don't know. We'll have to see. Chupa says, I think they did a good job with the Dragonlance animated movie. I am ashamed to say that I have it, and I've never watched it. I don't know why. I think every time I go to watch it, I get distracted by something else. But I have it. I need to watch it. So, because as you can see, I decided to wear all my D&D crap, my 5th edition, and the D&D movie. That's the other thing we're going to talk about. It wasn't really a teaser trailer. It was just an announcement video that the D&D movie is coming out March 3rd of next year. So, but we'll talk a little bit about that. I had to wear my D&D movie, the one that wasn't very good, along with my little dungeon master from the cartoons. Had to wear that today too. So, the original D&D movie, it wasn't very good, but it was a D&D movie. I was happy to have a D&D movie at all. So you guys tell me, did anything excite you from any of the World of Warcraft stuff announcements or the D&D Direct stuff that they talked about? They talked about a new starter kit for D&D. They talked about what was the other thing? Let's see here. They got obviously the Spelljammer Adventures in Space, and of course they've got Minsk and Boo. I guess are going to be featured in that. And then of course they've got let's see what else. Let's see. And apparently Roll20, I saw something that Roll20 was going to be rolled into D&D Beyond. Did anybody else see that? Let's see here. I'm trying to see. I could have sworn that I saw that Roll20 was going to get absorbed into. I could have sworn I saw it. That was going to get absorbed into D&D Beyond. Maybe that was just bullshit. Okay, integrating D&D Beyond with Roll20. Okay, so there's going to be a Chrome and Firefox extension called Beyond 20 that'll let you integrate the D&D Beyond character with Roll20, Foundry, Virtual Tabletop, and Discord. That's interesting. So it's not being absorbed. It's just going to be a plugin that'll make it so that you can use them in Roll20. So Okay. Let's see here. Bastille says, "I'm happy to see Spelljammer." Yeah, we're gonna talk a little bit about some Spelljammer stuff too. So, um, Bastille says he also heard a rumor speculation about Roll20 and Wizard of the Coast. So what I just read there, I think, is what they were talking about. That there's going to be a plugin, a browser plugin that will allow you to use your D&D Beyond stuff in Roll20. Um, maybe that's it. I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if they don't just buy Roll20 and wrap it all into D&D Beyond, because now Wizards of the Coast owns that. I could see them doing that, But let's see here. So yeah, the Spelljammer announcement. Yeah, that was pretty interesting. Now I saw that Greyhawk Grognard. I don't know if you guys follow him too, but I saw that he dropped a video. I haven't gone and watched it yet. Where he talks about this. He talks about the Spelljammer gray space. So what this was the accessory that allowed for Spelljammer and Greyhawk, basically Spelljammer content in the world of Greyhawk. And they also did Kryn space, which, as the name suggests, would be the same thing. It would be Spelljammer content in the world of Kryn, which is Dragonlance. So at some point, even if I don't do the 5th edition stuff, if it tickles my fancy enough, I've got the stuff here to wrap it right into my campaign. I haven't read through those exclusively, so I can't talk about the actual content of them, other than to say that, along with all my other stuff, my other source materials, I have enough stuff that if I never bought any 5th edition stuff, that I could game for the rest of my life with all the stuff that I have. So whether or not I'll pick up the 5th edition stuff, I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of a sucker for new shiny new books. So I say that I might not, but in reality, I probably will, just because I'm a completionist as well, and I've got all the 5th edition stuff so far, pretty much. And I'm like, well, why would I stop now if I just keep at it? I'll have a full collection, because who knows how long 5th edition is going to go before they do 5.5 or 6 or whatever. So who knows? But because I don't have I would say 2nd edition. Well, 1st edition I pretty much have. There wasn't a whole lot for 1st edition, but 1st and 2nd edition I have quite a bit of. So not a complete collection, but pretty damn close. Jesse T says, "Same here. I love to get new game things." Yeah, it's an addiction like anything else. It's like with the 5th edition books, especially. I like the ones with the special covers. I'm an artwork, sucker for artwork too, and they do a good job on that. So, yeah, I was interested to see that some of the artwork, like, where was it here? The Kryn stuff. I think it was the Dragonlance stuff. They didn't have any artwork ready for it. They just had placeholders for it. The pictures that they showed. So yeah, they haven't even decided on final artwork for that. But I'm sure it'll be good when they put it out. So it looks like there's going to be a box set for Spelljammer Adventures in Space. And it's going to have components: the Astral Adventurer's Guide, 64-page hardcover book for players and dungeon masters that presents the astral plane as a campaign setting and includes space-based character options, spells, and magic items, deck plans, and descriptions for spelljamming ships, and more. Boo's Astral Menagerie, a 64-page hardcover book that has game statistics and descriptions for 60 creatures found in wild space in the astral sea, including astral elves, cosmic horrors, lunar and solar dragons, murder comets, and space clowns. Well, I don't like clowns, so um, that would definitely be an enemy in my book. Murder comets. Wow, never heard of that before. Light of Xerex. It looks like Xerex is how you would say it, I think. Another 64 paid hardcover adventure for Dungeon Masters that's set in the astral plane, designed for character levels. So that's the adventure. And then you get a poster map of the Rock of Brawl, an asteroid city that can serve as both an adventure location and a campaign hub in the astral plane, and a Dungeon Master screen. That's what's going to be in this Spelljammer Adventures in Space box set. Let's see if it says when it's releasing. August 16th of this year. So, space clowns. Yes, that's what it said. And I fucking hate clowns. My wife always says, "Oh yeah, you're afraid of clowns." No, there's a difference. I'm not afraid of clowns. I just don't like clowns. I think they're fucking creepy. I never have liked clowns. Didn't like them when I was a kid at going to the circus, and they've not helped their cause by some of the shit on movies and stuff where they portray them as creepy clowns and all that shit. So yeah, yeah, nah. If I'm telling you right now, the easiest way for someone to on this earth to get shot is to break into my house in a clown outfit. It's fucking R.I.P. God damn it! I'm telling you right now. Yeah, see, I didn't even watch that movie, Pennywise. I didn't even watch that movie, It or whatever it was. I didn't even watch it because I knew Ronald McDonald was weird. I was a kid in the 70s, so I grew up with Ronald McDonald. He was weird too. Yeah, I mean, some guy. I was a fan of the Hamburglar. The Hamburglar was the cool little thief dude with the mask and everything, running around stealing the hamburgers. I was a fan of him. Or Grimace. Grimace was the big fat purple dude. I was a fan of both of them. I couldn't stand Ronald McDonald. So Bastia says roll initiative. Yeah, I would win initiative with a clown. I ain't waiting. No hesitation. Somebody was saying, I can't remember, a few years back, someone was saying we were gonna go to a Halloween party or something like that, and somebody was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna get everybody to come as dressed as clowns or as weird, creepy clowns or something." I was like, "That's the easiest way to get me not to go," you know. See, that ain't a. That's kind of a happy clown there, Alex. He isn't too bad. That emoji there, so that wasn't bad. Yeah, it's and we watch those British crime dramas and shit like that they have over there in all the cool like towns and villages and all that stuff. And they always have like festivals and stuff at those. And every time they have one of those episodes, the killer is a goddamn creepy clown. Every time. It's like the oldest trope in the book, you know? It's like we watch them and then all of a sudden I see, oh, it's going to be a carnival episode. I go, the clown did it before the fucking thing even starts. I'm like, watch, the clown did it. The guy dressed as a clown, he did it. Yeah, every time. Let's see if I missed anything here. Bastille, my manager is a clown. I wonder if he's in there too. I've worked for a few clowns, that's for sure. Killer Clowns from Outer Space is a fun movie. That sounds like it might just be silly enough and slapstick enough to where it wouldn't be that bad. Yeah, John Wayne Gacy is probably one of the reasons why I don't like that could be a very, very good, deep-rooted thing that I saw him on the plastered on the news. You know, that son of a bitch. that psychopath. So yeah, that could have something to do with it. So let's see here. So anyway, um, so are you guys? First of all, let me take a poll here. I don't know how many of you guys that are in here are actually active fifth edition players. I am not. I have played it here. Jonathan has DM'd it twice, two different times. Um, we're basically doing OSE second edition now exclusively. We may some set of circumstances, if Stesha decides she wants to DM, I think she likes fifth edition. She might DM fifth edition. So there's a possibility I could go back to it. But I'd be interested to know if anybody else in here is an active fifth edition player, or is everybody like doing old school tabletop stuff, different editions and stuff. So Jesse T says nope, because they're well, I was just gonna say they're selling the books to somebody, but I'm still buying them, and I'm not even playing fifth edition. But Chupa says I play 3.5, but I collect all fifth edition stuff. See, that's what I do. I'm doing it because I'm in a situation where I can buy them piecemeal and try and keep up with to have a full set, even if it's just so that when I'm 70 and I decide, you know what, I'm never ever going to use these fifth edition books. I'm going to sell the entire thing as a collection for several $1,000s, and go to Aruba or Hawaii for a vacation or some shit. Who knows. DM James, I'm a hardcore 5e fan. 5e is no. Now see DM James, I know you're bullshitting me there. 3.5. We've played when Brad DM'd a while back. He was DMing 3.5, and then he switched back. He actually got more into second edition after I DM'd, and then he started DMing. So it's like everybody's kind of going all towards second edition, and then OSE, of course. So, Alex Padilla says no, would like to play and learn because some D&D games can last for years. Yes, there are D&D campaigns that have lasted 20 years. Frank Mentzner had I don't know if it's still going, but he had one that was going for 20 years. So Chupa says my group plays 3.5 on Saturday, so it looks like on my end, second edition is what's popular, and it looks like the majority of you guys, it looks like 3.5. Mostly Rollmaster. I have one. I think I have one Rollmaster book. I don't have the actual rules, but I have one of the ones that was you could use for D&D. It was like spell law, because you had spell law, claw law, wizard law. Was there wizard law? There was spell law, claw law. There was a few different ones that they had that you could use for D&D. I'll have to get it out one of these days. Yeah, because I can't remember the one I have, but I don't have the actual Rollmaster core rules. That might be something interesting to look into at some point. So, we got a couple of things I wanted to talk about while I'm thinking about it. Number one, who's watching Moon Knight? My wife and I got my wife basically to become a MCU fan. All the MCU shows that come out now, and the Star Wars stuff, the Mandalorian, all that stuff. I got her on board, and so now she wants to watch them with me, and so we watch them religiously now. We got one episode we haven't seen on Moon Knight. I think we watched the first 3, I think. Yeah, it's in my queue too. Because right now the wife's working, so we probably won't watch it tonight, but maybe tomorrow. But hey, Stefan is here. But I'm enjoying the hell out of Moon Knight. First of all, I love an origin story, so it's kind of an origin story about how and it's a very interesting take with the two different personalities and all that stuff. Um, and I've always been fascinated with the ancient Egypt shit. So it's ticking off a lot of boxes, you know. Um, uh, I'm enjoying it so far. So I think the acting's been good. The action has been good. I never read the comic book. I'm not a big comic book reader, so this is my first um, introduction to Moon Knight as a franchise. So I'm enjoying it. Um, yeah, Moon Knight is cool, but last episode got weird. That's what I've heard. I haven't watched the episode yet, but I have seen sprinklings of comments where people are saying it got strange, which sometimes sometimes strange is okay with me, depending upon the type of strange, you know. So um, we are watching Moon Knight. My wife actually likes it, but I'm liking Halo also. I haven't watched Halo, so um, I've been digging Outer Range, starring Josh Brolin. See, there's so many shows out there that there's no way to keep up. That sounds good. That Outer Range sounds good. Um, and then there's the Northman TV show, and I've got to watch. I still have to watch the Batman. It's on HBO Max now, so I can watch it because we have HBO Max. I need to watch the moon. I have to watch the Batman, and then there's what is it? The Northern King or whatever it is, the Northerner or something like that. Um, yeah, there's a ton of shit coming out that's really good. Um, Better Call Saul. So I'm behind on Better Call Saul. I watched the first two or three seasons, and I don't know what season this is. If this is 4 or 5, but so I got a couple seasons to get caught up on Better Call Saul. Um, so that's another one because I love it. I mean, where I stopped, I don't remember what happened. It probably some life altering event. It might have been COVID, of all things, and because we had an earthquake. I don't know if you guys remember, but here where we are in Utah, um, when COVID hit, we had an earthquake like at the exact same time that everything shut down. Like when the Utah Jazz, because Rudy Gobert, the center for the Utah Jazz, he was the main reason that everything started shutting down, and it was a fucking domino effect. Rudy Gobert, the center for the Utah Jazz, got tested as positive COVID-19, and the NBA canceled all their games because of him, because they were afraid he'd infected everybody else. So they canceled, and then everything else just started dominoing and shutting down and everything. At that same exact time, we had an earthquake here, and it was like a 5.5, which I'm from California. 5.5 isn't shit by our standard, but for here, because stuff's not built to earthquake standards here, it caused a lot of damage, including the pool that I used to manage the maintenance for. So I was dealing with a massive damaged swimming pool that I'm talking about 100 was it 100 about 145,000 gallons of water, um, pool that was draining, like, and that had to be repaired. So we had to drain that, and then everything shut down. So it was literally me by myself there dealing with the catastrophic failure of the swimming pool and getting that fixed during COVID. So trying to get people to specialists to come out to fix the pool and everything, including divers and everything else. Um, while I was by myself everybody else was at home. I gotta turn this off, I guess. Um, so that's probably when I stopped. When I lost track with Better Call Saul, because everybody else was staying home, um, and was getting caught up on all this stuff. Tiger. I never saw Tiger King. That was going on when I was trying to deal with that pool situation. I was the only one there at work by myself doing that, during the whole COVID thing. And so I'm behind. I never saw Tiger King, and I stopped watching Better Call Saul. It was probably because of that. So um, that was a little tangent there, but that explains why some of the stuff that I was in the middle of kind of got pushed to the side. So Let's see here. Watch the first 2 episodes of Better Call Saul, then the entire first season of Breaking Bad again. That's probably not a bad idea. You know, if you're gonna watch, like if you're behind on Better Call Saul, is to watch, yeah, like the first season of Breaking Bad, and then go back and to kind of get yourself back in the mindset and everything. Um, but yeah, I got to finish because Breaking Bad is in my top 3 of all time. So I got to finish Better Call Saul. Um, so yeah, there was even memes of here in Utah of it had a map of Utah or something, and it had the earth with a big crack going through it with a mask over it because the earthquake and COVID hit exactly at the same time, and a roll of toilet paper. That was on the meme. It was a big crack in the earth with a mask over the Utah and a roll of fucking toilet paper. That was the meme for Utah during the COVID quake, as we called it. So yeah, those were fun times. Yeah. um, so and then the other thing I wanted to talk to you guys about, because it just happened today, and it's not gaming related, but I got to talk about it. Did you guys see the video of Mike Tyson beating the shit out of that guy on the airplane? Oh my God, that was fantastic. The long story short, the video is of this guy. He is sitting behind Mike Tyson, the former heavyweight champion of the world, on an airplane, and he is leaning over Mike's seat, giving him shit and taunting him nonstop, calling him all kinds of names and bullshit like that. And apparently, it made what Will Smith did look like it was on the kindergarten schoolyard. Tyson was over this dude fucking pummeling. But the guy had it coming, because what finally put Tyson over the edge, because he was doing it for the whole flight apparently. Somebody's videoing it, and apparently he throws a water bottle at Tyson, and that was what made him snap. And I would have fucking snapped too. You know, you know, it's only so much a person can take, and and then they show at the end the video of the guy, and on one side of his head, he's bleeding pretty good on the one side of his head, and some people are saying, oh well, you should never resort to physical violence or whatever. Hey, that dude literally, watch the video. That dude is over his seat, practically talking into Mike's ear like this, giving him shit. And then if he made physical contact with him with a water bottle, throwing a water bottle, that's all bets are off, man. Now, having said all of that, let's go back to the beginning and ask the obvious fucking question. Exactly how fucking stupid do you have to be taunting the former heavyweight champion of the world in a confined space where you can't even run the fuck away? You can't even escape. You piss him off in a confined space. Not only are you going to take an ass whooping, there's no way for you to escape, motherfucker. You can't go open the goddamn door mid-flight and jump out. I mean, I guess you could. Some dude shot it from the other aisle, from the opposite aisle. Was watching the whole thing, and he just decided to start videoing it. How stupid do you gotta be? And of course, alcohol was involved. But I'm 55 years old. I've been drunk several times in my life, very inebriated. I have never been inebriated enough to pick a fight with Mike Tyson. I mean, you know, I've talked shit and I've gotten into fights before, and I've won some and I've lost some when I'm drunk and everything, but never was it with a boxer that I knew was a heavyweight champion. I mean, let alone Mike Tyson, because we all know, on top of all that, Tyson's crazy, a little bit crazy. On top of that, he bit Evander Holyfield's ear off in the ring. He's a little crazy. You're going to pick a fight with that dude somewhere where you can't get away? That's a whole stratospheric level of stupidity that I will never understand. But it made for good entertainment. So, Anyway, not gaming related, but goddamn if it isn't topical. Um, um, and he'll probably sue Tyson. Maybe that's what he was doing. Maybe he was baiting him to do what he did, and maybe figure he's going to get a payday out of it. But I don't think it's going to go the way Homeboy thinks so, because the video shows that he started it, basically. That and that Tyson could say, well, I didn't know how unstable this guy is. I didn't know he was going to make a weapon out of something, and I wanted to basically neutralize him, and he did. So yeah, that's what I was just saying, Colin. That's it's a very likely a possibility. Um, exactly. Yeah, and the dude will probably write a book. How I got my ass beat at 30,000 feet by Mike Tyson and survived with both my ears. I mean, some shit like that, right? Um, yeah, I could, I could totally see that. So, yeah, I think it's due time here. So, yeah, let's see. Oh, so the D&D movie. Damn, I almost forgot about this because I even queued it up. So if you guys missed it, the D&D movie announcement it's supposed to come out March 3rd of next year. Let's get this going here. So they announced the title, and it's called Honor Among Thieves. D&D Dungeons and Dragons Honor Among Thieves. Let's see if I can get this. There we go. So what I'm trying to show you here is, if I can get this tablet to do what I want it to do. Okay. Trying to get it the right size here so I can show you this picture. Okay, so the title, Honor Among Thieves, is a play on words, because in the first edition Dungeon Master's Guide, this is the picture, one of the pictures that's in there under thieves, and I don't know if you'll be able to read that. God damn it, that's gonna suck if you can't. I may need to turn this light off. Hang on, turn off this ring light here. See if that helps. The glare might still be too bad, but anyway, yeah, it's gonna be too bad. It basically says there is no honor among thieves, and this is right out of the first edition Dungeon Master's Guide, and it shows a thief in there, and he's killed, looks like probably another party member, and he's going to take the treasure. So for me, because my first character in D&D was a thief, and my favorite character, Dorian Lightfoot, who is now an NPC in my campaign, was a thief. Later became a thief acrobat. So one of my favorite things out of the book is this picture that says no honor. Since I was started playing when I was 10 or 11 years old or whatever it was, that's one of my. And so when they announced that today and it said Honor Among Thieves, I was like, ooh, even if it's gonna suck, I'm just loving the title. I'm hoping it doesn't suck. Let's see if this shows up better. This is out of my completely falling apart DM's guide. That's how much wear and tear this DM's guide's got. It doesn't even, the binding is off. It's falling apart. Let's see if that comes out better for you guys, so you guys can see that better. I don't know if that's gonna, of course it won't, it's not gonna do, but anyway, there it is, and you can Google it if you want to see it better. But yeah, that's how much wear and tear. That's just part of the the rest of it's all over here. Yeah, that one's got a little bit of wear and tear, and this isn't even my oldest one. My oldest one is the original cover. This is the reprint cover. I have the original cover put away. That one I don't use to play with. That's my collector's item. But and this one was my ex-wife's anyway, from my first marriage. So I don't really give a shit what happens to it anyway, because it has her name in it. So don't really care. Um. So now that we've talked about that, let's talk about the movie itself with the cast that it has. And I've already forgotten. I know. Let's see here. D&D Honor Thieves. I know that Chris Pine, Michelle Rodriguez. Let's see here. Okay, Chris Pine, Michelle Rodriguez, Regé Page, which I don't know who that is. Let's see if I can see a picture of him. I don't know who that is. I might know if I saw him. Yeah, I don't know who that is. Justice Smith, Sophia Lillis, Chloe Coleman, and Hugh Grant. So the big names that I don't know some of the other people, but I know Chris Pine, Miss Michelle Rodriguez, and Hugh Grant are big names. So, what are y'all's expectations of this? Because I'm hoping that they did it in the Game of Thrones, Lord of the Rings trilogy style, meaning, you know, uh, dark and gritty and all that type of photorealistic, and not like slapstick, comedy, buddy comedy, style, like the first D&D D&D movie kind of was. Um I'm hoping that it's more like Game of Thrones. I'm hoping it's more like that. Oh, what about you guys? What are your expectations? Jesse T says, I really hope it's good. Been waiting so long for a good D&D movie. Bastille says, I heard speculation that it might be comical. I hope not. It's like, the success of Game of Thrones and the success of the original trilogy, Lord of the Rings trilogy, The Witcher. Look at The Witcher, the first season. I haven't watched season 2 yet of The Witcher, but that's the style that people like. They want, gritty, violence and sex, and they probably won't do that because they want to appeal to kids. They want to be able to get their kids to have their parents take them to the movies. So they probably won't go that far with it. But they could certainly, like Lord of the Rings, didn't have, it had violence, but it didn't have sex and language and all that, nudity or any of that stuff in it. So they could certainly go that route, like Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings, not going as far as, say, Game of Thrones or The Witcher. But they could certainly go that direction. But if they went the comedy route, that's going to be disappointing, because that's not what we want. We want to see an adventuring party on a badass quest, getting their ass kicked and kicking ass on monsters and brigands and thieves or whatever it is that they come across, dragons, whatever, evil wizards, all that shit. And in the like it was in Lord of the Rings, in that fashion. Now, whether or not they're going to, we'll see. Now the cast: Chris Pine, Michelle Rodriguez, and Hugh Grant. I got no problems with any of them. I've seen all of them in movies that I liked. I've seen that I like their acting, so got no problem with that casting. Those casting decisions. What would it take to make a D&D movie feel like D&D, showing the use of Vancian magic? Well, I think that if you So if you took something like Fellowship of the Ring, where they have to go on a quest. They have to get to the Prancing Pony to meet Strider, all that type of stuff. That all felt very D&D like. Then they get attacked, even though they were smart enough to move to a different room. Then they get to Weathertop and they're battling on. That's all to me. That's very D&D like. Um, so you could do the same thing and just so the magic users, let's say in the D&D movie that you're going to do that in, they would have spells like magic missile and fireball or whatever, and there's a way with CGI to do all that. You can do CG, you could do all those spells with CGI. All the monsters with CGI. I mean, with CGI now you could do all of it, just like a D&D game. You could just do it all with CGI. You could have your live action actors and then have other stuff CGI'd in, just like Lord of the Rings or Game of Thrones or any of that. It'd be expensive to make. That's the problem. Whether or not they want to give the right budget. They want to give the right budget to do it right. That's what it would take. As long as they don't do a Jumanji thing, the movie starts with guys playing D&D and then they get sucked into the world, that kind of thing. So, I don't know if I've talked about this before, but there's a book called Quag Keep. It's on my bookshelf back there, and it is back in the old D&D days. And Andre Norton wrote a book called Quag Keep, and it is exactly what you're talking about there. It's about a group of players. The dungeon master figures out a way somehow to transport them into the game. And then there was another book, a follow-up book, Return to Quag Keep. In addition to that, there's a book, a series of what was it? The Silver Crown franchise. Starts with the Sleeping Dragon. Same thing. It's a group of people that play D&D and they get sucked into the game world. So I hope they don't do that, because they already have properties. Like, they could do Quag Keep as a separate movie if they wanted to do that. Let's hope that this Honor Among Thieves is not that. I agree with you. Let's hope it's not that. Bastille says, I hope they have halflings in the movie. I hope they have halflings, dwarves, elves, half-orcs, all of it. I hope they have all of it in there. Now, whether or not they will, who knows? So, I would like to see that, but so anyway, guys, those that came in later probably didn't see my very early on rant that I haven't had a video on my page go over 100 views for over a month, and I don't know why. I was usually getting between 200 and 300 views per video. No idea why it tanked off. So if you can, on my other videos, if you can like, subscribe, whatever, anything you can do to help, I gotta try and boost those numbers somehow. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I don't know if I've somehow pissed off the algorithm. I don't know. So I'm trying to figure it out. And don't forget, you guys can follow me on Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, all that shit. So, and Discord. I have my Discord. I don't think my Discord's running right now because I had to restart my rig. I get my Discord going. Let's see here. Okay, Discord is running again. All right. Ooh, mimics. Now that would be cool. Is if they a mimic would be an excellent a mimic, a boule, which is how you say that. It's not bullet. A lot of people think that monster is called a bullet. It's not. It's boule. Tim Kask, who created that for first edition, has done a video on his channel where it has a French pronunciation, boulet. So I hope they have one of those, an owl bear, a mimic, the old fashioned trolls, the original first edition troll looking trolls, bugbears, um, goblins, whatever, that'd be awesome. I'd be down for all of it. So, okay, let me make sure I didn't miss anything here. Bastille says Tim Kask was at Dave Con here in St. Paul a few weeks ago. Yeah, old Tim's a good guy. He comes across as a cranky old crotchety old grognard, which he is. I mean, he would agree with that. I'm not, that's not a slight to him or whatever. But he's also a really nice guy. So like you meet him at a con or whatever, he's very approachable. He'll talk to you, he'll answer questions, sign autographs, whatever. He's a great guy. And I am approaching, if I'm not already there, old cranky bastard right here. So I'm not talking out of school or anything like that. When the aches and pains start getting to you, Owlbear Chupa says Owlbear, poor Randy Midnight. That's how. Hey, but my character was eaten by a fucking dragon. Eintz, my first character in the Dolmenwood campaign, was consumed while they were still fighting it. My character was eaten by a dragon. So poor Eintz, too. Yeah, because Randy wasn't consumed. I think Eintz might have been eaten alive. I can't remember. And then Randy Midnight, because my character Eintz was tanking that dragon from underneath. He dove underneath and was trying to stab it from underneath, and he's tanking it while they get to kill it. He eats Eintz, and then they go back to town, and Randy Midnight's the hero. And it's like no one mentions that Eintz gave his life to basically tank that dragon so they could kill it. And it's like, oh, the venture forth the conquering hero Randy Midnight. Yeah. What about poor Eintz? Oh, he's fucking dragon food. I saw a post where someone said that in a D&D movie, one of the main cast should get killed off early on, and then the party meet an entirely new character played by the same actor. That would be, they wouldn't do that, but that would be interesting. Mike Carr is scheduled to be there too. Yeah, Mike Carr, met him twice. Yep, he's a good guy too. That's funny you brought that up because the guy who plays Randy Midnight, Brad, we were at GaryCon, and I think I was having breakfast or something, and Brad was in a room just looking at stuff, some of the tables and stuff like that, and Mike Carr comes over. He didn't know it was Mike Carr. Some guy comes over and says, "Hey, you want to play?" And Brad's like, "Yeah, what's going on?" And he goes, "Well, we got this it was a tournament module, and so they were doing a tournament." And he goes, "We need another player." And he introduced him. He said, "Yeah, I'm Mike Carr." And Brad's like, "Oh, I remember. I had gone back to the room because my stomach was hurting or something like that, and I decided I'm going to go lay down for a bit because my stomach was hurting." And Brad comes bursting in the room. He's like, "I'm getting ready to have a D&D game with Mike Carr." He's like, "I need my shit. I need my D&D shit." He had it in the room, and he grabs his bag. He's like, "I can't believe I'm going to be in a tournament with Mike Carr." And off he goes, Zoom. And he was in like a 3-hour tournament with Mike Carr, one of the original D&D guys. So yeah, that was one of the. I'll never forget that. Brad was so excited because he wasn't even looking for a game. He was just kind of checking stuff out, So, thanks for the stream. Keep up the great work. Thanks, Alex. Yeah. So anyway, guys, we're over an hour here. I got to go have dinner with the wife and all that. Thanks for everybody that chimed in, asked questions, made comments, all that stuff. Please like, subscribe, watch my other videos, share them, tell people, about my channel, whatever you can do to help, so I can get some more. Got to get some more views. Got to try and hit that monetization level and all that stuff. So, okay, guys, we will catch you on the flip side.